everybody, welcome back. So today we are down an hour and 20 minutes south of where I live in Pennsylvania, and we're gonna try to pan for gold again. I've been here twice and I've found gold both other times. It's glacial gold, but it's still gold in Pennsylvania, which is still pretty cool. So as you can see, a lot of guys have already been here since this was figured out that there's gold here. And they even have this wall built up to put a sluice on. A lot of this has been dug, but it's nice. It's not really a natural bank because a long time ago they put in this huge brick wall and busted all this anyways. So it's nice that we can move this stuff around and not really hurt anything because there's a retaining wall. I'm gonna work back in somewhere in here. I'll be here for probably 5 hours, but we're gonna get the sluice set up right here. The sluice is on my back, but we're gonna get it right in here. I'm gonna get it set up now so we can just get to digging and I don't have to worry about doing this after. Go right around here. I think that's a bit better than last time. I'll probably adjust it more as we're here, but I was told in the comments last time to get a little bit more water flow in here, get it a bit stronger and more of an angle. So this looks a bit better and it looks decently even. I'm not sure, I'm still getting used to this, but that's better than last time. Now, what I have over here is some simple equipment. Got a gold pan, a coarse sifter. I've got my military surplus shovel. Got this little pry bar tool to pry some of these rocks. My shovel, which this is to shovel out the material and put it on top of the sluice so it goes down and feeds it through. And then I have some snippers if there's any roots, and here's my little gold snuffer. I think the first spot is right here, and this is originally the area where I panned when I was here first. Like I said, there's been a lot of people here since then, but I'm gonna get this material pulled out of here. All these sticks, I'm assuming this is from a recent couple of floods that were here. And we're gonna pull some of these rocks out and get all that material sifted into that bucket. And then that's when we can run it through the sluice. Not sure if you guys seen, but some mice started running out of that rock. So I just left it alone. There's a whole family of them in there. I'll leave it. So I moved over to the left here, but I just pulled this rock out. This is exactly what you're looking for. Like when I think of glacial, and especially what we have here in Pennsylvania, there's nothing like this in a lot of areas. And then this spot's just loaded. If you find rock that looks like this, that's a good sign. There's a bunch of it in this bank. So I'm working right here under this exposed rock, just kind of digging under it. And our bucket's full of water. And pretty much we just put all this here, sift it, work it through, and all that stuff gets to the bottom of the bucket. And then slowly you fill the bucket up with sediment, and then that's when we'll scoop that and run it through that sluice. That's what the rock looks like. There's been a lot that's been done here. There's a certain factory that was here, I think, and there's like this weird like red rock all over thrown through here along this brick wall. I mean, it's just covered in stuff. But I'm gonna keep just slowly doing this and see what we get. So this is the material I'm looking for. It's kind of iron colored, a lot of clay, but it's not quite solid clay. Solid clay you're not gonna find much, but this is like a mixture of like the level right above the clay layer, and this is what you want. This is where a lot's gonna be. You can see there's a lot of glacial stone right here. Down in here is what I want. I'm just gonna scoop it out with my hand. This rock, weird quartz type of rock. That's what we're looking for. Now that I got this chunk pulled out of here, we're gonna wash it off, okay? Because gold's not gonna be much further down than this level, at least in this area. There's a lot of clay stuck onto this, and that's where the gold will stick. Sift out the clay here. And just like that, ready for the next pan. That took a while to do this. This is like really slow digging right now. Whereas last time I was here, it was all open. I could just dig and dig and dig. Well, this time I have to really work for it. So I'm only doing a half bucket of concentrates here. This is just sifted material. So it's kind of this sludge, but the gold should be on the bottom. But we're gonna run it all through. Hopefully, we're able to see some gold up here on this top part. Just gonna slowly run it right here. But I'm gonna do it nice and slow because the last video I did with this sluice, this is the Beaver sluice, I had comments saying I was doing this too fast as well. I was just kind of throwing it in. So I'm gonna very gently do it this time and we'll work through. There's already something there, but I don't think it's gold. I still think I have this set slightly wrong. This looks a lot better than how I had it last time. But I know the angle's off a bit, and also a little bit too much water going in, I think. Maybe not. I took it over there, tried. Too much on an angle, the water all hit this side, no matter how I put it. But I'm not seeing any. I see like 2 little pieces of gold so far. But whenever I'm done with this bucket, we're gonna take this apart and see what gold we got out of this. I'm not seeing much gold here, so if we pan and we actually find a decent bit of gold and it's all from down in here, I'll have to reset this because most of this gold here should be right here at the top. Just pulled it out of the water. There's a lot of black sand and quartz in through here, so it did catch heavies. I'm not seeing as much as I did last time up here at the top. We're just sitting here. Someone just come up with a metal detector. They could have come down here, I don't know. They didn't want to disturb, so they turned around, but maybe they would have found a gold nugget down here. But here's my gold pan. This was sent in fan mail years ago. I still love this pan. It's just a Garrett, I think it's a Super Sluice, gold trap. Just one of those basic gold pans. It's all scratched up, so it really holds the gold, but I'm gonna set you guys up on that rock. I'm gonna start panning down this first bit and we'll see what it looks like. Here's a good look at our heavy material. I just literally just poured it on myself. As you can tell, a lot of this material is darker, a bit heavier. The smaller pieces mainly, but we'll go ahead and pan this out. I got probably 4 pans of this size worth of material. You don't want to run it all through at once because you'll lose gold. This stuff is really, really small. the gold is like almost non-existent. You can barely see it. So finding a piece we'll be able to see will be awesome, but we got to find it first. We're gonna pull out these big rocks. They're not big, but this little piece of quartz or granite, whatever it is, that'll make it get weird in here. You don't want any big obstructions while you're panning, because you'll lose gold like that. Now unfortunately I'm panning this way and I don't have a way to get an angle for you, because if I pan this way, the current's hitting this and it's gonna throw out the gold or whatever's in here. Something shiny here on the bottom of the... What is that? I think I just picked up a piece of mica. But I'm gonna pan this down to where it's right at the top and we'll see what's in our first pan. Not really anything in this first pan. There's like 2 tiny flakes, not flakes, just placer flour gold or whatever they call it. That's really, really small gold. I seen a garnet. There's some lead in here. At the bottom there, next to a garnet, there's lead. I'm gonna just suck most of this up with the snuffer and then we'll deal with it later. Wow. Was a little bummed out because I wasn't getting much. But right there, that's actually a nice piece of Pennsylvania gold. That's a decent sized one. Don't worry about the video quality. I'll get you a better shot of it later, so stick around. I'm trying to get through as much material as I can because, you know, I'm an hour and a half from here. It's kind of limited when I come here. But I'm gonna just suck all this black sand up, all this. And if I don't do it today, it'll be in this video, but if I don't clean it up here today, bet when I'm back home, I'll take my time and pan it all. But that's a nice piece of gold right there. So I'm on the last pan of that first half a bucket. Right in the center of the camera is a nice piece of gold. I'll rock all this back, see if we can see any more. See all this black sand? Really tiny pieces you guys can't see. But I'm gonna suck all that up. That's how much black sand I have out of that half a bucket. And there's gold in there. It's real small though. That's stuff you're gonna have to see on another camera. But it's in here. So I'm gonna do at least another... Man, I wanna shoot for a whole bucket before I leave. Twice what we just did. But I'm gonna do the whole bucket, then we'll run it through. I won't break it up like that. I'll just do one full bucket because it was a half. We'll get in there and I'll get digging. I just pulled this glacial rock. You can tell it's really glacial. It's white, it's got red, this dark black streak. Well, right here, it was submerged in clay on one side, and the other side had the level right above the clay layer. So what we're gonna do is wash this off. And that's what the rock looks like, but gotta get that clay off there, because that's what holds the gold. Sorry for the stuff on the screen. I'll get it off soon here. I know this isn't a full bucket, but it is. This is an entire bucket's worth of clay layer. So this was full of clay and stuff up to here. And I just took it out in the water and I tried to get as much clay off as I could. So we're gonna be running this. This should be very concentrated gravel. And I'm hoping we got some gold in here. Well, I looked not too promising at the top again. Once again, I think there's too much water going in. And it might not even be the fact that there's too much water. It's just, it's coming at such a force. I just don't think it's supposed to go that fast. I don't think we're losing an extreme amount of gold because it's catching it down in here. But the fact that I'm not seeing any up here means I just, way too much force coming through. You see all the glacial rock that's in here, in this area. It's just a lot of white and black, mainly white, and you'll see it has like black and red streaks and kind of thing. Up where I'm at, an hour and a half north of here, you don't have much of this, you know. Obviously there were glaciers, but right here you got a lot of glacial till just kind of dumped off. Here's a better display of this Beaver sluice. So here's your top, real fine riffles. They catch a lot of stuff here if you have it set up properly. And then you got this miner's moss here. This is the thicker kind. You catch a lot in this. And whatever's smaller that passes through that and tries to escape gets caught on this carpet. And that's just kind of like a normal carpet. And then on top of that layer, that's where you have your big riffles and these large drop-offs here. You know, the water comes down carrying the stuff, it hits this point and it's a drop-off, it drops. So you've got one of those, two, three drops. So if you miss it here, you miss it here, you've got even more drops down here that it can catch. I've only got about 2 pans out of that full bucket of clay layer, because most of it was clay. That took a while to wash that stuff out of there, but now it'll be easier to pan and it'll be more concentrated. There's one super small piece of gold. You can't even see it. There's just so much black sand in here, this band along here, and it's underneath this normal sand. This is all black sand. It's getting dark. It's best if I literally just, you know, get all the black sand and then we'll do it at home. Everything's here and then the sluice is on the back. We're gonna go ahead and take off from here and I will see you within the next few days. It's gonna be in a second for you guys, but we'll go ahead and pan everything down real slow and see what we got. I seen at least 3 pieces of gold. All right, we are back home and this has been drying. I've panned this multiple times since I've been home, but the gold is just so small. I want to show you something though. Here is a magnet, and when you pull this up, it pulls the magnet away from the bottom, so it'll drop everything again. But right now it'll pick magnetic material up, so we're gonna run it over. And just from running that over, that's all black sand. You see that concentrated there. But yeah, there still could be gold. Even there, I'll have to get that off there. So over here on this piece of paper, right there, that is a piece of gold. And that is from what we panned. I pulled that out of there because I went through real careful and looked for something that I could actually see. And I was able to see that. It's still very, very tiny. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in a bottle so I don't risk losing it while panning. And we're gonna pan this down and see if there's any more than that one piece. Right there, we have another piece of gold. And what I'm gonna do is, since it is so small, and there's a lot of black sand in here, like, this is a pain to get this gold out of here. I'm gonna go ahead and just try to get that on the tip of my finger, and then I'm gonna stick it on that piece of paper that we had the other piece on, let it dry. This is how small this gold is. I'm trying to find it. Where is it? There it is. That's how small. There's another piece right there. Right on the tip of that blob of sand, you can see it. But it's here and there. Here is the plastic bottle. And in the very, very, very bottom, you can kind of see it. It's very, very small. Right down there where it's shiny, you can see that gold. There, we have 4 total pieces that I was able to pull out. It's glacial gold. Now the rest of it is still in the black sand, and I have to separate it. I'm just gonna save it for now. Maybe down the road we'll do a big video of like going through black sand, but panning it, like with the pan itself, the gold is just too small for me to do in the pan. I'd have to almost get one of those systems or something like that, but you can see it moving around the bottom. Really, really, really tiny. Here's a better comparison for you guys. Right there is the gold we found. And this is normal gold. This is what some normal gold looks like from most places. Yeah, you can see the static in there is holding the small gold up on the plastic, but that's normal gold. And here's Pennsylvania glacial gold. It's tiny. Tiny, tiny pieces of gold. But I hope you guys enjoyed. This video is more of just a cool part of history. You know, Pennsylvania doesn't have much gold, but the glaciers kind of drop some off, so I think it's pretty cool to see that. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed, and it was a pretty fun little trip. I drove down to sell something off of Facebook Marketplace, but if any of you know how Facebook Marketplace is, you know that people like to waste your time. But I also had this in the back of my mind. I've been wanting to come down here for a while, so it was kind of, I come down to gold pan, and if I sold the thing off Marketplace, I did it. If I didn't, I'd still be gold panning. Glad I did that. But hope you guys enjoyed, and it was cool that we found some gold. I know it's not a ton of gold. There's like a fly on the camera right now, but it's still interesting, and it's practice. Obviously I need it. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I thank my Patreons, and I thank everyone that is watching, and anyone that's new to the channel through this video, make sure to stick around. I'm really into gold panning and prospecting history, so I plan on doing a lot of pay dirt reviews and also maybe some historical videos to do with the gold rush, things like that. So if you guys enjoy this, stick around, and I'll see you guys in the next one.